Imagine living in a world where your entire future is decided at the age of 16. A world where the society is divided into various factions based on your personality and values. This is the world of Divergent, Veronica Roth's captivating young adult dystopian novel. In this world, you either belong to abnegation, dauntless, erudite, amity, or candor. Abnegation people are plain and modest and go into governance. Amity people are kind and nurturing and go into warfare. Candor people are honest and make good lawyers. The dauntless are brave and work as soldiers and guards. The erudite are intelligent and study science and technology. But what happens if you do not fit neatly in any of those categories? What if you are divergent, a rare anomaly with the potential to disrupt the very fabric of society? This is the reality of Beatrice, or Tris, the protagonist of Veronica Roth's gripping dystopian novel, Divergent. On her choosing day, Tris makes a decision that will change everything. She defies expectations by choosing Dauntless, a faction known for its physical prowess and recklessness. Little does she know that this single decision will draw her into a world of danger, love, and betrayal. As Tris undergoes a brutal initiation process, she must fight to prove her worth and keep her most dangerous secret hidden, that she is divergent. But as she uncovers the truth about her world and the factions she thought she knew, Tris must choose where she truly belongs. Will she stay true to herself and risk everything to protect those she loves? Or will she succumb to the pressures of a society that demands conformity? In Divergent, you will be swept away by a thrilling journey of self-discovery, courage, and love. You will find yourself questioning your own beliefs and wondering what you would do if you are in Tris' shoes. So, are you ready to find out what it means to be divergent? Join me, Daniel, in this summary of the Divergent book as we dive deeper into the headfirst captivating story of Beatrice or Tris. Well, what is the main topic of this book? So the main topic of this book is the importance of individuality and being true to oneself. The importance of individuality and being true to oneself. Or simply, we can say that this book is about identity and the search for belonging in a world that forces conformity. Identity and search for belonging in a world that forces conformity. So the plot follows Beatrice Pryor, who was later called Tris, a 16-year-old girl from abnegation faction in a dystopian society where everyone is divided into 5 factions based on their personality traits. On the day of the chosen ceremony, Tris' aptitude tests results show that she is divergent. And what does that mean? It means that she has traits from multiple fractions. She does not fit into either of the 5 factions in the society. She is divergent. She is somehow obligation. She is a dauntless. She has several traits in our personality traits in each of those factions. So that's why we are calling her divergent. So on that day of choosing, remember they choose their faction at the age of 16. They do an aptitude test at the age of 16. So at 16, Beatrice Pryor, she was called Beatrice Pryor, she found that she does not fit perfectly into any of those factions. So she chose another faction. So the aptitude test that she did showed that she was divergent, meaning that she had traits from multiple factions. This puts her into danger as the government hunts down and kills divergents. Now, here is the thing. Beatrice Pryor has found out that she does not fit into any faction. So that means she has personality traits of different factions, so she's a divergent. But the thing is now here that the government of that time wants to kill. The government is handing down all divergents to kill them. So Tris chooses to join the Dauntless faction. She was called Beatrice Pryor, but now, after choosing the Dauntless faction, her name changes to Tris. So through this novel, we'll call her Tris. But remember, she was called Beatrice Pryor. So She now joins Dauntless faction, a group of warriors who are known for their bravery and physical prowess. During the Dauntless initiation, now she is now a Dauntless in the Dauntless faction. During the initiation, Triss must face a series of challenges, including fear, simulations, and physical tests. She also makes a number of enemies, including Peter, a cruel and manipulative boy. So Triss eventually discovers that the Erudite faction is another faction, the Erudites, led by Janine Matthews, is planning to overthrow the government and enslave the Divergents. Triss and her friends must work together to stop Matthews and save the city. In the end, Triss and her friends are successful in defeating Matthews and saving the Divergents. They also establish a new faction called Amity, which is based on peace and cooperation. So that is the main topic of the book. It's about conformity and the war of individuality and conforming into a society that wants you to conform to things that maybe they want. So what is the plot summary? All that we said, what is the plot summary? Remember, I'm giving you just the plot summary, not everything about this book. So Triss Pryor, or Beatrice Pryor, is a 16-year-old girl from the abnegation faction in this society where everyone is divided into 5 factions based on their personality traits. Triss takes the aptitude test and discovers that she is divergent. And what does that mean? That means that she has traits from multiple factions. Triss chooses to join the Dauntless faction, a group of warriors who are known for their bravery and physical prowess. During the initiation, the Dauntless initiation, Triss must face a series of challenges, including fear simulations and physical tests. She also makes a number of enemies, including Peter, a very cruel and manipulative boy. So Triss eventually discovers that the Erudite faction, led by Janine Matthews, is planning to overthrow the government and enslave the Divergents. Triss and her friends must work together to stop Matthews and save the city. In the end, Triss and her friends are successful in defeating Matthews and saving the Divergents. They also establish a new faction called Amity, which is based on peace and cooperation. So that is the plot summary, the main topic and the plot summary of the book. Now, what are some of the main characters? Of course, we've mentioned Triss. So what are the main characters and their roles in this novel, on this book? We have Beatrice Pryor, who was later called Triss. When was she called, or her name changed to Triss? When she joined the Dauntless faction. So Beatrice is the protagonist of the story. She's the protagonist of the story. She's a 16-year-old girl from the abnegation faction, which values selflessness and humility above everything else. However, Triss is divergent, meaning that she has traits from multiple factions. But when she takes her aptitude tests, she's inclusive for abnegation, Erudite, and Dauntless. But at the choosing ceremony, she chooses to join Dauntless, a faction that values bravery and physical strength. So during her aptitude test, she discovers that she has traits of abnegation, Erudite, and Dauntless. That's why we are calling her divergent. But during the choosing ceremony, she chooses the Dauntless faction. So that is the main character, the protagonist of the story. Another main character is the number 4. The name is 4. So Triss, instructor at the Dauntless initiation. 4 is also a divergent, and he helps Triss to learn how to control her abilities. He is a mysterious and complex character and develops strong feelings for Triss over the course of the novel. We have Caleb Pryor. This is Triss' older brother. Caleb is intelligent and ambitious, and he chooses to transfer to the Erudite faction at the choosing ceremony. He believes that Erudite is the best faction because it values knowledge and intelligence. We have Peter Hayes. This is a Triss rival at the Dauntless initiation. Peter is cruel and manipulative and makes Triss' life difficult. He's also a divergent, but he fears his true nature and tries to hide it from everyone. We also have Christina as another main character. Christina is Triss' best friend at the Dauntless initiation. Christina is kind and supportive, and she helps Triss to get through the difficult times. She's also a divergent, and she and trees confide in each other about their true natures. We have some other important characters, including Tori, that is a woman who administers the aptitude test to trees. We also have Eric. This is a leader who is cruel and sadistic. He is also divergent, but he uses his power to control others. And then we also have the G9 Matthews. That is the leader of the erudites, and he is very intelligent and ambitious, but he is also a ruthless and power-hungry person. She is the main antagonist of the novel. So those are the main characters of the book. Why don't I give you the key takeaways, or not takeaways, but key ideas or arguments presented, but you can still call them what? The themes which are presented in this novel. Themes presented in this novel. So I have quite a number of themes, but I'll just go through the main ones. So the first one is identity and quest for belonging. Identity and quest or query for belonging. So the very foundation of this novel, Divergent, rests upon the concept of identity. In a world where society is rigidly divided into factions based on personality traits, the characters are constantly questioning who they are and where they truly belong. Trees Pryor, the protagonist of this story, embodies this struggle as she grapples with her divergence, an anomaly that threatens the entire system. Remember, the government of that society wants to kill all the divergents. So this journey of self-discovery pushes Trees to defy expectations and embrace her unique qualities, inspiring others to do the same. Another theme is the power of choice and individuality. The power of choice and individuality. Divergent emphasizes on the importance of individual choice in shaping one's destiny. Tree's decision to choose dauntless and embrace her divergence is a powerful act of rebellion against the rigid faction system. This act highlights the transformative power of individual choice and potential for change when one dares to challenge the established order. So the story reminds us that we are not bound to by predefined labels, and that we have the power to carve our own path in life. So that's the second theme, or another key idea or argument presented. The third one is the consequences of conformity and the danger of control. Consequences of conformity and the danger of control. This society, this dystopian society of Divergent, serves as a stark reminder of the dangers of conformity and excessive control. By suppressing individuality and enforcing strict adherence to faction values, the society inadvertently creates a breeding ground for discontent and rebellion. A government that will always suppress individuality and enforce strict adherence to rules and values will always be a best breeding ground for discontent and rebellion of the citizens of that country. So, this Divergent becomes a symbol of resistance against this oppressive system, highlighting the importance of diversity and the need for individual freedom. Love is another theme. Love and its power to overcome differences. Another theme or idea or argument presented. The power of love in overcoming differences. So despite the social divisions and the threat of war, Divergent portrays the power of love that transcend boundaries and unite individuals. Tree's relationship with Pryor was called Tobias, a fellow inmate from the Dauntless faction, serves as a beacon of hope in a world that is filled with darkness. Their love story demonstrates that genuine connection can overcome prejudice, fear, and even social discord, reminding us that love can be a powerful force for change. Number 5, another theme is truth and deception. Truth and deception, and the struggle for justice. Truth, deception, and the struggle for justice. So as Trees dives deeper into the world of the factions, she discovers hidden secrets and conspiracies that threaten the very foundation of their society. This journey exposes the manipulative tactics employed by the erudite faction and highlights the dangers of unchecked power. So Trees' fight for truth and justice becomes a central theme, urging us to question authority and fight for what is right, even in the face of danger. The last theme is the sacrifice and the price for freedom. price of freedom, sacrifice and the price of freedom. So Divergent does not shy away from portraying the sacrifices which are required to achieve true freedom. Trees and our allies face numerous challenges and losses as they fight against the oppressive system. Their willingness to make sacrifices for the greater good underscores the importance of personal responsibility and collective action in the fight for a just and equitable society, Now, are all these themes that I've mentioned, the 6 of them, are they really applicable in our real modern world? Or are they just fictional constructs? Are they just in literature? Are they things that exist in our modern society? Are they relevant? So I want to give you specific examples of how these themes of Divergent connect to some of the contemporary issues that we have in our world. So these themes that we explored, the 6 of them, are not just fictional constructs. They are surprisingly so much relevant to the world we live today. While the dystopian setting of the novel and futuristic factions might seem like a fantasy, the fundamental questions that the book raises about identity, choice, and rebellion are still pertinent to our contemporary society. For example, if we begin at the first one, identity and the quest for belonging. So the struggle to find our place in the world is a universal experience. Everyone wants to find their place in the world. That is a universal experience. We all grapple with questions about who we are, what we believe in, and where we fit in. In today's increasingly diverse and globalized world, those questions can become even more complex. Social media, for example, with its curated online personas and consistent comparisons, can further intensify feelings of isolation and inadequacy. Just like trees in Divergent, we must navigate a world that often tries to categorize and label us while searching for a sense of belonging that transcends these artificial boundaries. So you can see it's very applicable in our modern world. The power of choice and individuality is another theme. The power of choice and individuality. Is it really applicable? So our modern world is filled with pressures to conform to social norms and expectations. From the clothes we wear to the careers we choose, we are constantly bombarded with messages about what we should be doing. However, Divergent reminds us that we have the power to make our own choices and forge our own story and path. We are not defined by those labels of the society that they try to impose on us. We have the potential to defy expectations and embrace our own uniqueness. So you see, it's very applicable. Number 3, the consequences of conformity and the danger of control. That's another theme that we talked about. Consequences of conformity and the danger of control. So while the extreme control depicted in the Divergent might seem far-fetched, we see similar dangers in our own world. For example, governments and corporations are increasingly collecting and analyzing personal data, using it to influence our behavior and limit our choices. Still happening today. So the rise of misinformation and propaganda further threatens critical thinking and independent thought. Divergent therefore serves as a cautionary tale, reminding us to be vigilant against the forces that seek to control us and to actively fight for individuals' freedoms. You see, it's very, very relevant. Number 4, for example, is the theme of that we talked of love and its power to overcome differences. In a world that is divided and always constantly conflicting, Divergent offers a powerful message of hope through the love story between trees and 4, who was Tobias. So through their relationship, they demonstrate that love can bridge social divides and create a sense of unity and understanding. This is a message that is desperately needed in our current society, where political polarization and social media echo chambers often lead to intolerance and hatred. You can look at the last theme. For example, there's the sacrifice and the price of freedom. So the fight for justice and equality often requires sacrifice. So many individuals throughout history have put themselves into a risk for a fight of what they believe in, and they've always been inspiring generations to come. Therefore, this book Divergent reminds us that true change rarely happens without sacrifice, and that we must always be willing to stand up for what is right, even when it is difficult. So as you can see, The themes that we've talked about, remember, those are just the main themes. There are so many themes in the book. They are not just about dystopian fact past. They are deeply relevant to our challenges and the opportunities that present in our today's modern world. So by engaging with these themes, remember, these novels are not just for a good feeling when you read them. There are some messages about our contemporary world that they always present to us and to us, the readers. So if we can engage with these themes in this book, we can gain a deeper understanding of ourselves and the world around us, empowering ourselves to create a more equitable and just future. So, looking at those themes, what are some of the ways in which we can apply this book's knowledge in our real world, in our real contemporary world? So, we've said that that book is more than just a captivating novel adventure. It is a treasure of valuable lessons that can be applied in our modern and everyday lives. So this novel explores themes of identity, conformity, individuality, and the fight for justice, all of which hold significant relevance in our contemporary world. So how can we enhance our unique identity, for example? So we can do that by, number one, challenging societal expectations. Just like Tris defined the expectations placed upon her by choosing Dauntless, we can too challenge our societal expectations and embrace our true selves. This could mean pursuing careers that are unconventional, dressing in ways that express our personalities, or simply refusing to conform to narrow definitions of beauty or success. That's one way that you can embrace your unique identity. Number two, celebrate diversity. How can you embrace your unique identity? You can do that, number two, by celebrating diversity. So the society in Divergent emphasized uniformity, but the real world thrives on diversity. So we can celebrate the unique qualities and perspectives of others by engaging in open dialogue, respecting their viewpoints, and actively promoting inclusion in our communities. So that's how, those are two main ways that you can embrace your unique identity. How can you speak up or stand up for what you believe in? How can you apply that? Stand up for what you believe in. You can do that. I have two ways. You can speak out against injustice. Speak out against injustice. Just like Tris, when she stood up against the erudites' manipulation, we can raise our voices against injustice and inequality in our own communities. This could involve participating in peaceful protests, donating to worthy causes, or simply engaging in respectful but challenging conversations with those who hold different views. So that's one way that you can stand up for what you believe in. Number two, challenge the authority. Throughout the story, Tris questioned the authority figures who sought to control her and others who are also divergent. We can apply this lesson by critically examining the information that we are presented with, holding leaders accountable for their actions, and advocating for policies that promote transparency and fairness. That's another way. How can we seek truth and fight for justice? Seek truth and fight for justice. How can we achieve that? I have two ways also. You can be a critical thinker. Be a critical thinker. In a world that is saturated with misinformation and fake news, it is crucial to develop critical thinking skills. This involves evaluating evidence objectively, questioning the sources of information we consume, and forming our own informed opinions. Another thing is to support investigative journalism. Investigative journalists play a very key role in exposing corruption and holding the powerful accountable. We can support their work by subscribing to independent news outlets, attending public events, and donating to organizations that promote investigative journalism. So there are some other ways, such as how can you find how can you remember the power of choice? Remember the power of choice. How can you have that power of choice? So make decisions based on your values. Tris made tough choices throughout her journey, always staying true to our core values. We can adopt this approach by reflecting our own values and making decisions that align with them, even when faced with pressure or temptation. Another way is to take responsibility for your actions. Divergent reminds us that we have the power to choose our own paths and we are ultimately responsible for the consequences of our actions. We can apply this lesson by acknowledging our mistakes, taking ownership of our choices, and striving to learn from our experiences. So you can see from this book, it's not just a good adventure, a thrilling adventure, but it has powerful lessons that we can learn and we can apply them in our lives. So what are some of the takeaways that we can have from this book? And I can just mention them very, very quick because of the interest of time. Some of the takeaways. So the rigid, for example, conformity versus individuality. The rigid faction system forces people to conform to specific rules, suppressing individuality and diversity. So Tree's journey highlights the importance of embracing your unique qualities and defying societal expectations. Tree's rebellion against the system emphasizes on the importance of free will and self-determination. Another takeaway is that Trees and other divergents represent the hope for change and progress. Number 4, Trees' relationship with 4 or Tobias demonstrates the power of love that transcends societal divisions. Number 5, Trees and others who must make the sacrifices to fight for a better future highlights the importance of courage and resilience. And we also have the dangers of dogmatism, the power of hope and change. Those are the themes which are takeaways that we can get from the book. But I can summarize all those takeaways in one big main takeaway. So the one big main takeaway from this book that I can pick and we can go home with is that being true to yourself, even when it is difficult, is the most important thing in the world. Being true to yourself, even when it is difficult, is the most important thing in the world. So this is the central theme of the book, and it is something that Trees learns throughout the story. She starts out as a selfless abnegation member, but soon realizes that she needs to be more selfish in order to survive in a dauntless faction. She also learns that she is divergent, which means that she has traits from multiple factions, and this makes her unique and special, but it also makes her a target. So Divergent is such a powerful story about the importance of your individuality and being true to yourself, and it's a message that is especially important for young people to hear. Be true to yourself, even when it is difficult. That is the most important thing in the world. So, as I conclude this summary of Divergent, remember I was just going through some of the main things. This was quite a brief summary, but you can get an in-depth summary from our website, that is vidanmeds.com/blog. Then you can search for Divergent, or I'll also leave a link to the same write-up in the description of this summary. In the summary, you'll get other characters, summary of chapter titles and main sections. I'll give you comparison of this book to others on the same subject. I'll give you the bio of Veronica Roth, the author of this book, and some of the interesting facts about her. I'll explain more about the target audience and the intended readership of this book. In the summary, you still get the reception and critical response of the book, that is the positive reviews, the negative reviews. I'll also give you my main thoughts and personal thoughts and what are my personal thoughts and reviews about the book. I'll also give you a list of other recommendations of books that you can read which are related to this book, Divergent by Veronica Roth. So that's the end. You have it, folks, of this brief summary. I hope now they inspire you and they've teased you to go into our website and look at an in-depth summary of this book. And remember, from VidanMed, this was Daniel. We always bring you the best so that you can be ahead. You can read, evolve, and become better each day. So remember that you can support us by liking, sharing, subscribing, leaving your feedback or a comment, and even tagging a friend to come and listen to our summaries. So until next time, in another summary, continue reading, evolving, and becoming better each day. You are divergent. Embrace your uniqueness, embrace yourself, and become a better person that the world will really need. Until next time, bye-bye for now.